I've seen a lot of people discussing how each map in Hitman, the new trilogy, ranks. So this is not what I want to do, because on the contrary to what those people believe, I think all of the Hitman maps are pretty great in their own ways. So to start with, I've only played Hitman 2016 and Hitman 2 thus far. So I've seen some locations being unanimously disliked, like the Marrakesh or Colorado or Santa Fortuna. They're saying those maps have huge connecting junctions, areas among targets, making them very tedious to get from point to point. Actually, I disagree. In this video, I will tell you why each map is very exciting to explore, and it makes the whole game have more depth to it, rather than just you go there and you spend maybe 1 minute walking around and you just want to kill your targets instantly. That's not what I want to do. As a game that focuses on the linear experience, I imagine that IOI wanted to make these maps so big that each level can feel like its own open world. This video is just gonna be about Hitman 2, minus the DLCs, because at the time I was playing this game on PS4, the DLCs, they were not available. Well, they won't be available because they're like all of the levels are on Hitman 3. But we'll get into Hitman 3 after I've finished the game, and probably 100% of it because I'm a trophy hunter. This first level is an introductory level to the new mechanics in Hitman 2, and it's a very good one at that. I've always liked the idea of a home invasion and playing hide and seek when nobody's there. The first time you arrive at the location, it makes me want to explore the area in its full detail, and it makes me want to appreciate the setting. You know, after I think I've thoroughly explored the map a couple of times on casual difficulty, there are still a lot of things that I didn't know at the time, and later up I had to search it up on YouTube to see if there are other ways to find keys. For example, there's a key under a vase near the pool area. That took way longer than it should have. And there is also another way to take her out, is that you put on the bodyguard disguise and you threaten her. You shoot in the air or something like that a couple of times. Then she'll go to the sea and drown herself. It's crazy.
Talk it down.
There's this challenge that requires you to poison her tea. You think this would be something that's very easy, the same as poisoning her sugar. But her sugar is there already before she arrives. The tea is after. And it requires a bit of maneuver to pull it off. Once you pull it off, it's actually quite satisfying. If I remember correctly, there are 3 NPCs just near the counter. And if you're doing the suit only challenge, you have to essentially wait behind this counter. But there's also another guy who might come at any second. And once they've all turned their backs, that's when you have to make a vault and pour the poison into her tea. And you only have a window of a couple of seconds. And once I think I've got pretty much everything out of this level, it's typically when I get to level 15. After this point, I'll start a new playthrough on the master difficulty. But I would recommend that you complete as many challenges as you possibly can, then proceed to the master difficulty. with all the gears you have. Another thing I love so much about this map is that you have all the time you need before the assassination target shows up. And that's great because you're not operating under stress, and it basically just plays like a semi-open world game. And it's not like you have to complete each level on master difficulty. It's just something that I think would get me most out of the game. And I think the developers have designed the challenges in this way too. So I think, there's something you don't know. You should try it out. Let's see what happens. And it's satisfying and rewarding. So overall, as an introductory level, this is pretty simple yet effective. You can make it as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. Miami is one of those levels that everyone seems to love. Here, I like it because of different reasons. The map is a very stark contrast to Hawke's base, dark and gloomy, where here you get very vibrant and lively with so many crowds, and it's kind of similar to how in Hitman 2016, where we went from Paris to Sapienza. The map can feel a little bit confusing at first, but as it goes on, it's probably one of the least confusing out of all the levels in Hitman 2, next to Whittleton Creek. I like that every level has a classic underground tunnel that connects some areas, like this parking area, because when I played on master difficulty for the Silent Assassin challenges, I found new ways to approach my targets from the Kronstadt side of the map using the staircases. The most challenging aspect of the level is that there's a time limit to the race, and it can be sort of inconsistent at times, because some challenges require you to do during the race, and that's about either taking out Sierra Knox or Mozzie Lee, and it requires a bit of waiting, around, a lot of patience to complete. So it depends on who you want to win the race. You have to create a save at the branching off point where both of the targets are racing, but you want only one of them to win, and the other either has to go to the bathroom or be eliminated. And there are a few challenges tied to the chili shot. You have with Sierra Knox after she wins, or after Mozzie Lee wins. But the trick here is that even if Mozzie Lee wins, which by default he does, he won't go to the lunch like ever. So you have to take him out, and you have to expect the NPC to go to a certain area, like his own lunch, to chill there. I think that's the only place you can take him out with magic poison. Some of these challenges, when you look at them, you have no idea where to start. For example, like this eliminating your target with the grinder challenge, I thought you would have to create a contract to assassinate somebody else, but it turns out this is totally doable in the story mission. So there's a lot of freedom of approach in every Hitman map. In this case, I did this challenge with Robert Knox without getting seen. The way I had to do it, I had to take out a lot of guards, and some people, some random civilians on street level, you have to knock Robert Knox unconscious first, then drag his body to the Kronstadt side of the Marshall Bridge, and from there is very safe because there will be nobody guarding that area. But once you come downstairs, there's gonna be some people passing by, and you have to take them out carefully. And because there's no way you can neutralize all of the civilians walking by. So take out those that are kind of obnoxious wandering around, and so you can be absolutely sure that you can drag his body across to the dumpster and just kill him there, because I don't think the game will register if you killed Robert Knox in the elevator shaft and then drag his body across to the dumpster.
Both targets down.
And I like the challenges related to the flamingo mascot outfit too. And there's this one trophy, the pink army, that's not in any of the challenges. It just unlocks a secret escape area. And it's not a secret escape area, it's just it unlocks a new cutscene for mission exit that you think you see in something like a Mario game. And my favorite area in Miami is probably the parking area, because every time I go there, the music that plays in the first bit is just, it hits so hard. One nitpick I have with this map is that there are just way too many disguises to keep track of, and some of them require you to take people out in public, like some of these racer outfits, which don't make a whole lot of sense to put on. Other than that, it's truly one of the most iconic maps in the game. And now we're getting into the more controversial territory. Santa Fortuna is one of the more disliked maps in the game. And I can understand the frustration, the consensus, but I don't agree with it. You see, the traversal between the village and the mansion, and between the mansion and the cocaine fields, between the cocaine fields and the construction site, takes some time. The scenery in this village is quite stunning and peaceful. I even wondered if all of it is real. With that said, judging by how interesting the opportunities are, Andrea Martinez is definitely the weakest one of all the three targets. She stays pretty much in the same area, small area, until you disguise yourself as a shaman, and you can walk up to her, guide her to the construction site, and after that you have a couple of ways to take her out. She does provide very easy, silent assassin opportunities. Rico Delgado, on the other hand, there are some pretty interesting assassination opportunities, and I think he has the most disguises to mess around with. I like that tuning down the number of disguises in this level from Miami, so they become easy to keep track of. None of the disguises you can put on in this level risks you putting yourself out there in public, which is a lot better than in Miami. And Rico's mansion is pretty interesting setting on its own. You would think that feeding all three targets to the hippo is impossible, given how much open area there is between the mansion and the cocaine fields. But as long as you take out all of the security guards you think are a threat to this challenge, you should be able to drag Jorge Franco from his cocaine fields. Not easily, because the easiest target to do this challenge with is, of course, Rigo. With the opportunity, you disguise yourself as the hippo worshipper. And as I've mentioned with Andrea, when you disguise yourself as shaman and lead her to the construction site. She'll stay here for a bit. You have to distract her to this area with the bush. There's the tunnel behind this bush, so you can drag her to the hippo pool and assassinate her. On master level, for the silent assassin challenges, I think the most difficult part is the mansion because of how huge it is and how many cameras there are. You have to think about what cameras you want to take out at certain distances, because some distances, even if you're far away from the camera, if you're shooting close to a guard, you will alert the guard. That's quite scary, and it's something to think about when you do these challenges. But I don't think it's all that frustrating. It's just, like I said, with the freedom of approach, things give you more perspectives. And that's what's great about this level, especially with the mansion. That's my favorite area of this level. So those are my thoughts on the first 3 levels of Hitman 2. I would like to continue this in the next video where I cover from Mumbai till the Isle of Skill. So stay tuned.